I was always fascinated by your journey of blackness, your blackness, because I wasn't aware you had a master's degree in African American studies. Did your journey in becoming so woke or connected to your blackness start with education, your community, or the industry?
I mean, it started at home. I was raised in a black ass home. I mean, Grenada as a country is a black ass country. If you look up, like, there's this famous speech that Revolutionary Maurice Bishop of Grenada that he did, where he was talking to a whole room of folks about how America was so worried about Grenada having a revolution because, unlike Cuba, Grenadians are black and English speaking. Like, there are black people in Cuba, but Grenada as a country is a black country and it's all English speaking. So they'd be able to align with the freedom fighters in America in a way that other countries that may have had the same values wouldn't be able to. And I really feel like a lot of people don't understand that about the islands. Like, there's a real great sensibility and pride in the black folks and being black in these islands. And so I grew up in that. My mom was always playing Bob Marley and, all types of reggae and all types of, my mom loves pop culture. So I was exposed to just all types of black music. And I mean, this might be woo-woo and, so you could take it or leave it, but I just feel like I've been here before. And so when I got here, I already knew who I was, which is very discomforting to people who don't know who they are. Because it comes off as arrogance when it's really just an inner peace.
When you say that, explain what that means for the people who are...
My soul has been here before. There's a certain restlessness that you have when you've been here for the first time. I have friends and we talk about this and they're like, I'm here for the first time, girl. I'm looking around, I'm saying things. But I feel like I always had a connectivity to my blackness. I never had to learn it. So that's why it's still to this day so discomforting to me when people who I feel are community don't see me as community. Because I'm I never not felt like this about you, And as I went through school and, my mom had me in even though my mother is from Grenada, she still understood that I'm in America and the Black America is a different experience. So she had me in extracurricular activities, the McKnight Achievers in Orlando and, making sure that I'm hanging around black children and I always had a black doll. I mean, my mom went up to a lady in a Walmart parking lot who had a black child in the stroller holding a white doll and was like, why did child have a white doll? And I'm like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. And she's like, you have to understand the efforts that I had to go through to get you a black doll.
This is in the parking lot?
Yes. But she's like, yo, I knew that it was so important for you to have black representation that she was like, I really made it my business to find the one black Barbie that would have on the shelf or my Keisha doll, etc. And so that was always apparent. And then I went to...
So is that when you first saw the importance of standing in your blackness, valuing your blackness, acknowledging your blackness?
I would say that I first was able to truly understand that in high school. I was doing that early on because I was in the entertainment business. My first job was at Disney and it was the Sparkling Christmas Spectacular. Must be Santa, must be Santa. And
were you the only black girl doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
And they let me know that at every second that they could.
Did they?
That was my first time experiencing racism. Any second they could. You're only here because you're black. They only passed you because you're black. They wanted a black.
They said that on set?
These are little 10-year-olds in Florida. They raised them racists up early, baby.
Were these Ron DeSantis's grandkids? Or?
I mean, what's sad is that these are regular. This is just the surrounding.
Right.
And I remember we had to do Secret Santa, and my Secret Santa gave me a half-open candy tube with Goofy on the top, and I knew innately then,
right?
Oh, this is racist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This gave me a half-open tube of candy from Secret Santa. I knew innately that was racist. Even though no one said it to me, I knew this is racist. There was a little kid named Patrick. You're taking me back. You're taking me back. There was a little kid named Patrick, and I remember I was sitting on my caboodle, and he was sitting across from me, and he kept kicking my caboodle, his little blonde. And he kept kicking my caboodle. And I said, do it again, and we're gonna have a problem. You know, I give people opportunities, okay?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, we're gonna have a problem? And y'all, like, I launched, and like, I had nails at the time, I don't know, I had nails, and I was like, and I like dug into his arm, and he was like, ah! But out the corner of my eye, I saw our chaperone, a sister named Jennifer.
She was smiling.
She let it rock for
She did that for the culture.
She let it. I saw her let it rock and then be like, oh, okay, let's break it up. But she let me have that. You know. And he was the one who was always like, you're just here because you're black. You're black. And so I think, you know, for a lot of people, they don't understand, like, at that moment in my life, and for those people, I think I was like the darkest version of a person they had seen.
But that's something I can relate to, because in the 7th grade, I had a similar experience where this boy was harassing me for being black. I was in a school with probably 2 other black people in a city called Oakdale. And I remember saying if he did something to me, I was gonna fight him, and he got on the bus and he spit in my face. And it was like this deep loogie spit where he sucked every piece of.
Have you gone to therapy for this?
I've whooped his ass for that.
Yes.
But I remember, and sometimes because I'm gonna go back to what you said earlier about like some people saying, you know, challenging your blackness or whatever, that he saw me as black. I feel like they saw me as black, and now I see me as black, and I love being black, and I'm a champion of black. But I'm constantly fighting with my own people to defend and validate my blackness. What is that?
Oh, that's white supremacy.
But why don't our people see that colorism or whatever that is created by white
Because
supremacy?
that's not colorism. Colorism only works one direction. You know, that's internal prejudice, right? But colorism only works one direction. Like, there's no reverse colorism. Colorism works in the direction of the darker your skin, the less you're seen as valuable, because the further you are away from whiteness.
So when Mariah Carey talked in her book about experiencing, I guess it's prejudice from people who are darker skinned, forcing her to validate her blackness, and me feeling that way.
That's up.
Okay.
But it's not colorism.
But it's okay. So colorism is only one way.
Yes.
Got it.
That is us as black people taking the weight off of white people for making us hate our own community. Mm-hmm. Like, colorism is the responsibility of white people. It's not the responsibility of black people who benefit from it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
In the way that some people give it to us. Now, I will say it's our responsibility to be conscious of when we're benefiting from it and how we can create space. It is absolutely our responsibility. But I think sometimes it gets misappropriated in the sense that there's this idea that all light-skinned people are perpetuating this idea that light skin is better, and that is simply not the case. It's also not true.
Right.
And white supremacy has a very skillful way. It's like, I don't know if you're watching this show, The Last of Us on HBO. It's about zombies who basically, there's a pandemic, but the pandemic is fungus, and the fungus grows, and it's able to take over people's minds and control them, and it can reach into any crevice and cracks and places. That's what white supremacy does. It's a fungus that has grown and creeped into every crevice and crack and space of this world to control it. And we haven't yet figured out how or what the antidote is for that fungus, but we see it even in our own community.